Elfyn Evans has become a local hero, having won his local round of the World Rally Championship credit Red Bull less than 24 hours after his historic Wales Rally GB victory. A slightly hungover Elfyn Evans speaks to Ed Wiseman about his personal journey and the road ahead for stage rallying. You tweeted yesterday that you felt on top of the world. How do you feel today? It's an incredible feeling to have won my home rally. It's my first rally win, to be honest, but to do it at home is very, very special. There were so many family and friends at the end of the stage, a lot of people IWASNT expecting to see. The atmosphere was incredible there. I've never experienced anything like I experienced yesterday, especially the feel-good factor and atmosphere at the end. It was incredible. Obviously there have been a few key moments during my career, but nothing quite as special as that moment yesterday. What effect do those home crowds have on you? I think naturally at any rally at this level, we don't really need motivating, we're always out to do the best job we can. But when I went out and saw all the fans so enthusiastic, especially on Saturday around my home area, it does put a fire in my belly. Winning on home turf credit Red Bull. I've not done the rally that many times, but this has been the busiest rally GB I've seen. We've probably had the best weather for spectators for many years, and I think it showed Wales at its best. How was the weather from a driver's perspective? We had such heavy rain on the Tuesday before the event that the stages were soaking wet, which left them tricky, with a lot of grip changes. It had been so wet on Tuesday, and while there was some drying on Wednesday and a bit more perhaps on Thursday, when we went into Friday the stages were still very wet. There had been a different level of drying, or road evolution, and I found the grip was very inconsistent, which was a difficult thing to deal with. It's very easy to overdrive and go wide, and it's easy to underdrive as well. Finding the balance on Saturday was difficult. What's your least favourite stage in Wales? My least favourite is Brennig. It's very off-character compared to the rest of the Rally GB stages. I would say it's a conventional forest stage. It provides a stunning backdrop to the last stage of the event, but in terms of driving enjoyment it's my least favourite on the list. Elfyn Evans in airborne action. And your favourite WRC round? There's a lot of places around the world where I really enjoy competing, but especially now in the 2017 cars. Finland is an incredible experience. In terms of pure driving fun factor, Finland, what were you doing before you started rallying competitively? I was quite late starting to drive. Well, I was young learning to drive. I learned to drive aged around 8. My grandfather taught me, but as a kid it was all about bikes, motocross and trials bikes. I followed rallying, obviously, because my dad was a professional, but there was never any talk when I was a teenager about me doing any rallying. I had to push very hard for my dad to let me build a car. We ended up building an F1000 Nissan Micra and I entered the Widene Valley in 2006. A basic 1000cc Nissan Micra. Around 50 bhp. I played a bit of PlayStation, Colin McRae, rally, that sort of thing. But I was more of an outdoor lad, and at that stage one was all about the motorbikes really. Another thing, when I was younger, my family had a dealership, and there was a car that was ready to scrap. I had that to play around with. When did you realize you were a talented driver? My dad drummed into me how there was no certainty of having a career in rallying. It was to be a hobby, nothing else. Evans and Barrett enjoy the trappings of victory credit Red Bull. I started winning properly in 2008. We had a deal where if I wanted to move up, I had to dominate the class in the current level. And that was how my career began. We always aimed for the championships with prize money or with opportunities. Motorsport is always expensive and we tried to make it as cost-effective as we could. I was never the best at finding sponsorship money. But that's why we went down the route of trying to win a prize, and for that to propel us into the next class. Rallying used to be much more prominent. What do you think went wrong? I think TV has changed a lot, and the way that people access things has changed over the years. Maybe we didn't quite move with the times. Going back to the 80s, rallying was always on primetime TV, and obviously we don't have that now. Everything seems to be football or Formula 1. And there's so many other things for people to watch and do. Every year I've been coming back to Wales Rally GB. It seems to be going from strength to strength. All the viewing figures are on the up, so at least everything's moving in the right direction. The crew celebrate credit Red Bull. The cars are incredible, the noise is great and they're definitely pleasing to look at, and they're very spectacular. As a sport we have a lot of the ingredients right at the minute, but I don't know how we help to engage further. Obviously the digital side of things is expanding all the time. We do have some good coverage, but maybe there's scope to do something different there. Are the 2017 cars having a big impact? The cars are naturally going to be an attraction. When you're standing at the side of the road and hear the engines through the forest, especially in a British forest, there's an echo in a British forest that really makes it quite exciting. To be honest, I don't know, in terms of TV views the sport isn't as strong as it was, but in terms of attendance on stages, it must have been massive this weekend, because when you notice people out of the corner of your eye when you're driving, you know it's busy.